taking God's name in vain, disregarding the existence of God. These are ways most religious teachings define as mockery of God. People in positions of influence often display their arrogance by scorning God or his power. And as you probably didn't know, the overambitious display of greatness has resulted in some gruesome deaths. With this being said, prepare to be amazed by these 5 people who mocked God and died. Let's begin. Number 5. Marilyn Monroe. The cream of the crop of Hollywood celebrities. She had it all, the looks and the talent. Despite her outward expression of her beauty, she kept her suffering to herself. During her filming routines, Billy Graham, a Christian televangelist, gave her a visit and stated that he had been instructed to preach to her by the Spirit of God. She then replied, "I don't need you, Jesus." She was later found in her bedroom laying lifeless. It is rumored that she committed suicide as she was suffering from severe depression. Number 4. Bon Scott. Frontman for popular rock band AC/DC, Australian Bon Scott was in his heyday. The band was on top, and he had just replaced the lead singer Dave Evans in 1974. He put pen to paper, and his songwriting skills shown on the band's album released in 1979. He came up with the opening track, "I'm on a Highway to Hell," and standout track on the album. At his peak, a surprising turn of events took place, and in 1980, he choked on his own vomit after a night out with his bandmates. The cause of death was alcohol poisoning. The band later dedicated their album Back in Black to honor the memory of their fallen lead singer. Number 3. President of Brazil, Tancredo Neves. His presidential campaigns were something to marvel. He opposed previous military regimes in Brazil and inspired Brazilians to participate in the political process. This made him a popular figure amongst the Brazilian people. During his campaigns, he said that if he got 500,000 votes from his party, even God would not unseat him as president. The soon-to-be Brazilian's first civilian president in 20 years was never sworn in and died following complications from a surgery at the Heart Institute. And this was just a few days away from his election. Diagnosed with a life-threatening ailment, he underwent several operations, but eventually relapsed from his final surgery. Number 2. Thomas Andrews. The Irish businessman is known for his shipbuilding skills as the naval architect of his crown jewel RMS Titanic. He oversaw its construction and familiarized himself with all the operational details of the Titanic. After observing it and conducting a series of tests, he was full of confidence about the workings of the great ship. During a questioning session as a result of the large media coverage of the Titanic, a reporter asked him how safe the Titanic would be. He replied, "Not even God can sink it." On April of 1912, the ship sank after hitting an iceberg on its first voyage on the New York City, claiming over 1,500 lives. This made it one of the worst commercial disasters in history, and as a result of Thomas Andrews, he died in the collision and his body was never recovered. Number 1. John Lennon. The Fab Four were living the life. They were international stars at a young age and led to their massive following, famously nicknamed Beatlemania. John Lennon was one of the admired members, particularly among the ladies. The songwriter also had an impressive start to his solo career after the Beatles broke up. The fame must have gone to his head before his untimely death. In an interview, he stated, "Christianity will end. It will disappear. I do not have to argue about that. I'm certain Jesus was okay. But his subjects were too simple. Today, we are more famous than him." The controversial statement made in 1966 eventually saw the Fab Four break up. In 1980, Lennon was shot by fanatic David Chapman in his residence on New York after a recording session. And believe it or not, people claim that he was punished for what he said. What you think? And there you have 5 people who mocked God and died. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like and share it. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe down below to get notified almost every single day with newer videos from Top 5's Finest. Thank you so damn much for watching, and until next time, we are out.